Welcome, everyone. It's August 16th. And as most of you know, today is the first day of the Toastmasters International Convention in the Bahamas. So many of our members, including our president, who is Program Quality Director, Dr. Valencia Jones, is in attendance. So we're likely not going to see some people because of that. But I purchased the online version so I could watch it at any time and catch the replays later. And whatever we learn during the next 4 days at the International Convention, I hope that our trio members will share it with us. And those of us who are watching online can make some comments as well. Today's theme is Who Moved My Cheese? And we talked about that as we were getting prepared for today's meeting. How many of you, raise your hand if you've read that book?
Yes.
Okay, it's an excellent book. And it sounds funny. It sounds like, wait a minute, what is this all about? Is this a children's book? But it's actually a book about change. If you don't know, it's about four characters, two mice and two little people. The two mice are called Sniff and Scurry, and the people are Hem and Haw. And what it means is, think of sniffing around, trying to find something, and Scurry is scurrying around trying to find something. And then Hem and Haw, it's that word that talks about indecisiveness. You hem and haw about what to do. So the two little humans are indecisive on what to do. And at some point, they go through a maze. The maze is like life, it represents our environment. And the cheese, which is the key point of the book, it talks about happiness and success. So imagine, if you will, you're either one of the mice or one of the little humans. And would you be sniffing around, scurrying around trying to find new cheese? Because when they come to a station with the cheese, they eat it all up and they're happy and they're satisfied. And then the cheese is gone. So the two mice start searching for new cheese. But Hem and Haw are indecisive, and they can't decide if they want to look for new cheese or just say, oh, well, I guess that's the end. Maybe I'll die because there's no more cheese. And what we do in entrepreneurship is we're a little bit of all of that. We find that sometimes we're not willing to look for something new or let go of something old and comfortable. But it says in the book that they have to leave, and Hem and Haw take forever to catch up with Sniff and Scurry to find new cheese. And while they're doing that, Haw is proposing, let's look for new cheese. And Hem is unwilling. Meanwhile, Sniff and Scurry found new cheese and they're enjoying it. So Hem takes it upon himself to say, let's go look. And Haw is like, I don't know. I'm just going to stay here. And so Hem leaves and he finds the other two, Sniff and Scurry, enjoying new cheese. So what Hem does is he wishes that his friend would come with him to look for new cheese. And he's hesitant. So he leaves him and he finds the new cheese and leaves messages for Haw to hopefully find his way out of that lost environment. And we as entrepreneurs can be lost. We're not willing to change. But the end of the book says that there is a time where, with all the messages that him is leaving for Hall, he will eventually and hopefully find his way to the new cheese. And that's really how it ends. It says, Hall looks at various things. Change happens. Anticipate change. Monitor change. Adapt to change. Make changes and enjoy it, and be ready to change. So with that, now he has to hope, because he hears a little sound outside of the corridor. He's hoping that his friend will join him, and Haw has found his way. What we will do today is find our way to make changes, to adapt and accept change. Our first speaker is Dr. LaWanna Parker. She is a success coach, an Amazon bestselling author, inspirational speaker, and affectionately known as the blogging queen. Dr. Parker works with women looking to transform their lives through creative writing, leaving a legacy, and developing personal growth. She's here today to share challenges you experience in business. And with the business challenge, as most of you know, we allow the speaker 5 minutes to explain their business challenge. LaWanna, it might be okay to take a minute or two longer because you're our only speaker today. And then we have 10 minutes for the rest of us to offer advice, suggestions, recommendations on how to resolve those challenges. Please join me in giving Dr. Parker a warm and enthusiastic welcome. Hi, Melinda.
Hi, Melinda.
Thank you so much. Thank you for asking me to speak this morning. And I'll tell you, listening to that story, I read that many years ago. I think I was still working, so it's been a little while since I heard it. But it reminded me of me because accepting change is really difficult. When you get used to things being a certain way and they work for you, then you want to step out and learn something new, and you think, oh no, this is not how I've been doing things, and now I have to learn a whole new thing. Is this really going to work for me? But that's what the situation I found myself in. I love reading, as most people know. I mean, I got enough books I could start my own bookstore, and I'm sure they would be quite jealous of me. But I have all this knowledge, and I wanted to share it with other people, and I couldn't figure out how to do this and still do what I love. So I ended up trying different things before I realized that I was pushing away the one thing I truly enjoyed, and that's writing. So I started working with people with writing, and that began with a friend who was going through some things because of COVID. And I had this idea, why don't we get together and let's write and talk? That worked for her. And I'm happy to say she's back to the person that I met years ago, out there doing things. And it gave me such a great feeling that I thought maybe I could help others. So that's what I've been doing. The journaling evolved into creative writing. And with the creative writing, the personal development, because the writing wasn't enough. I had to show people that through the writing, you can find yourself. You learn to express those things that you held back for years. And it's a growing, you truly do change and become better for it. However, my challenge is knowing how to market what I do. If that, you would think it would be easy, but it isn't. I'm in a number of successful networking groups, and I share the fact that I work with people who are interested in transformation, because when you get to be a certain age, that's another thing. You start thinking, well, what do I have left to offer? Who cares what you have to offer? Are you good enough? You didn't go to school for that. So seriously, you want to do this? Those are the kind of things that was going through my head, even though I was speaking of what I do. And many people were excited about it and thought it was a great idea, but they still didn't sign up to join with me. And any suggestions on how to approach these individuals in a perhaps different way from what I've done in the past would be greatly appreciated. I cannot tell you how many times I've had people in the last few weeks who have actually approached me and said, I've been watching you and I've seen the growth in you. That's a plus, because I've actually gotten 3 clients from that. But I'd like to do better. The difficulties you run into are things like, hopefully I mentioned the marketing, is how to approach the people that you want in it, the wording that you should use so that they don't feel put on or looked down, because I don't consider this a light situation. And I seriously take this as one of my callings. Having gone through a period when I felt like, well, I just might as well just say it, it really was depressed. And I hate using that word because all my life, people have always thought of me as being strong. I don't have problems. And suddenly I found myself in a bad place where I was having problems and I didn't know who to talk to, for the simple reason that nobody seemed ready to hear that I was having problems, because they came to me. You're not supposed to have problems. You were supposed to be there when I need to talk to someone about a problem. And I ended up writing that in a journal, which later became a book for me. And I thought that might help me, because it did get me more speaking opportunities when people found out I had a book. Some of them bought the book and they actually came back and told me that so much of what I put in that book resonated with them and made a difference. But once again, I didn't know how to approach or market to them in a way that they didn't feel put upon. And so that's the help that I'm seeking today from all of you. Any suggestions, as I said, will be very much welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, LaWanna. Wow. The real life story of how to come into a situation and then now looking for our feedback on how to resolve some of those issues. So I see Rosabelle's hand up. Rosabelle, why don't you start our 10-minute discussion so all of us can take a little time and offer some feedback to Dr. LaWanna. You're muted.
This is the common dilemma of those who help others, and that is that others may not see them as needing help, but then also they don't see themselves as needing help. And probably the best way to help others and actually be the role model is to be an example, even if you had, or if you did have your own weaknesses. And those of you who heard my contest speech, even though I didn't win, I was very weak throughout my life. I failed at every little, I failed PE in high school. So that made me one of the weakest little dinglings in the class. And yet at the end, I found that by my own example, I found the strength. And I think being honest and, first of all, realizing that you have a weakness or that you need help or that you are depressed is the first step. And then not being afraid to ask for help. In my case, I wasn't afraid to ask for help. I was just like totally ignorant about what was wrong with me. and so I just kept fainting and I didn't know why. But I did ask for help, and eventually it took many minds to figure it out. But whether it takes one mind or one close friend or many friends or even many customers, I think probably the lesson learned is being an example and being a role model is the best way that you can ultimately help others. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rosabelle. Okay, Bond, your hand is up.
Oh, thank you. Dr. LaWanna, first suggestion, can you, in your introduction, can you take the word women off? Because you inspire everyone, including me. And I'm a man. And I tell you, I bought both of your books. I enjoy them so much. You are very good writer, very natural and very talented. So as far as the real practical suggestions are concerned, I have no suggestion because your challenges are my challenges and your dilemmas are my dilemmas too. I've been writing for many years too, since considered going professional and get some income out of the writing. I feel that. So I'm not here to give you a suggestion. I don't have any success story. I'm trying to steal any suggestion from whoever in the audience. I sense like medium, in the beginning, try to increase the viewership. I just found that the ratio of your investment and the return is not worthy. I spent tremendous time, got all the interaction, which I really didn't enjoy doing. But I got maybe like $20 per month. This is really not worth doing, so I stopped that. But I'm not sure that's the right decision. Maybe this book we can find some answer from this book who moved my cheese. But just give my own example. The reason I bought a book, because I saw you. I kind of like you, the way you talk and the message you send out. So I bought your book physically from Amazon. I pay money for that. So the way you win this specific client is presenting yourself. So go anywhere you can, maybe present your face and you have your message. Maybe you can attract some clients, but that is a very practical way. I'm not sure. I just tell my story. Thank you, Dr. LaWanna.
Thank you, Bond. Thank you so much. Yes, it sounds like your book, Dr. LaWanna, was a big help, and it expressed what you wanted to share to people and tell your story. So it invites people to want to listen more to you and seek your advice. Suzanne Leonard, will you unmute and tell us what suggestions you might have for our speaker?
Absolutely. Thank you, Roz, for the privilege. Dr. LaWanna, one of your strengths as I hear you and see you is your courage and your authenticity, your willingness to bring forth the fact that you're looking for your cheese, you're in the movement of going forward in your own life. And I think in sharing that, whether it's one-on-one or in your next book, I'm on the path with you a little further along because I have some books and I have some credentials if you want to bring in that part. But I think that will enhance and add value to the fact that you're on the track as well. You've got your shoes on, you are walking your talk or running your talk, however that goes. I think that's a real plus for you as you go forth And your audience, your clients will find you, as Vaughn alluded to, because your message is strong and authentic and personal and very courageous. When we bring forth the best that was in us, sometimes it's a little scary. So congratulations on your work so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Yes, LaWanna is courageous taking on this new adventure and seeking our advice. I see Charles' hand is up. Charles, will you unmute?
Okay, I'm unmuted now. Dr. LaWanna, one of the suggestions I would make to you, are you familiar with Dr. George C. Fraser? You're muted.
I'm sorry. No, I don't think I've heard that name before.
Okay, look him up. He has written a lot of books, including Success Runs in Our Race. One of the things that he just mentioned at our last meeting was that he is using ChatGPT to write his next book by inputting his other books into it. You may want to input your books into AI and have them come up with a marketing plan for you.
Good idea. I've heard some other people mention the same thing about using chat GPT for writing their books, even new ones. I haven't tried it yet, but it does sound like an interesting idea. I did want to mention before my time is up is that today is a milestone for me, and I should have put it in my presentation. Today marks 1,095 consecutive blog posts. Wow. That's a total of 3 years straight of writing, and I am so excited about that.
Wow, that is amazing.
I was just trying to make 31 days. I had no idea would go into this.
Yeah, that's the name of your book. And it's funny how blogs can take a life of its own. Once you start writing, then you want to say more and more. And I know we have several people here. I know Taya has a blog, Bond has a blog. I'm not sure if Rosabelle or Nora or even Melinda has a blog. Frankie, you might have a blog. But you know, it's something to just allow yourself to free flow the writing skills that you have, but to continue telling your story. So I hope all of us in this club will take advantage of blogging and even writing a book. I don't see any other hands up, but if anyone else wants to share some comments or suggestions to Dr. LaWanna, the last suggestion was on teaming up with people. And I know that we are teaming up as mentors and mentees. Perhaps the person you're teaming up with can offer some advice or take it further. Like in Who Moved My Cheese? Will you stand still? Or will you continue to seek change and enjoy the change? Imagine yourself with that new cheese and how you can express yourself in a new environment with a new story. And marketing, have a marketing plan to take it further, whether you do the marketing yourself or you ask someone or hire someone to help you with marketing. Are there any other comments or suggestions for Dr. LaWanna's business challenge? Okay, Bond put in the chat box, marketing is the most difficult part. Does anyone want to talk about marketing for a minute? What you're doing? Charles, I know you do a lot of marketing. And I know Taya's doing some marketing. Frankie, unmute yourself and tell us what you suggest.
Well, one thing about marketing is it has a bad rap a lot of times. People resist it. But if you look at it from the perspective of who would you be denying the expertise that you have to deliver if you don't put yourself out there and connect with them? We're all here to serve, I think, in one capacity or another. We all have specific knowledge we've gained over the years. And there are people that are just really begging for what we know. So we all could be coaches, we all could be mastermind leaders. But if you're resisting marketing because of our own ego and our own fear of rejection, maybe, think of it from a different perspective. Who would I be denying this knowledge if I don't put myself out there? So I just thought that comes from Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. And it's helped me a lot in how I approach this coaching program that I'm trying to launch online.
Oh, that's amazing, Frankie. You know, I listen to Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi a lot as well, and they have master mindful suggestions. Join their mastermind, join them online, catch what they're doing and what they're saying. And you just might hear something that you just needed to hear because, like Frankie said, someone needs to hear it and you're denying them that access. So keep that open, LaWanna, because sometimes there's people out there and we don't know it yet. But like you said with your book, people were surprised to read about and hear about your story. Rosabelle.
Thank you. I think with marketing and sales frequently get lumped together. And then I know one of the things I noticed when I came to this country, we used to shop in Europe by going into a store, and my mom would tell them what she needed, and they would measure her and they would make something for her. When we came to the United States, I noticed that the store was there, and the salesmen are telling you what you're supposed to want. And so my brain was turned around about what shopping is about. And I hated shopping. To this day, I hate to go even grocery shopping because I want to go to the market and say, like my grandmother would say, I want this cut of meat. And the butcher would make that cut of meat for her. Not, it's there in the package and you better take it and you better pay for it the way we made it for you. And then the salesman concentrates on making you buy what he has. I think the truth in marketing, and being a doctor, I obviously can't give people the disease I want them to have. So luckily I picked a career where I get to practice my beginnings appreciation and understanding of marketing and sales. And that is to focus on the client and the recipient and listen to them first as to what they want. And even with that background, I learned an important lesson from, when I worked with Bond and Mona and Aaron on my nonprofit. We had an event and Aaron was setting up the blurb little, the little video that would market to people to come to attend the event. And he created this rock and roll punk rocker cartoon. And I said, what are you doing? And he said, well, we're attracting people to come to the event. I said, but those aren't the kind of people, that's not what I am. And he said, Rosabelle, we're not attracting what you want, we're attracting what they need. And it's true. We were having that particular program for high school and teenagers. This is separate from youth leadership. This is another program I had, who were on the brink or were thinking about drugs or why not take drugs. And we needed to get to that population. I'm right next to Redlands East Valley High School. And we had several dozen teens show up because of that punk rock cartoon that I hated. But it was the right marketing strategy, focusing on the beneficiary of the product you're trying to promote, not focus on the product. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. And I'm looking at Melinda. Melinda has recently posted some things from her YouTube. I remember when you gave that TEDx speech in Riverside. and it said, "Give me my energy back." That's marketing. That's keeping the message out there. So if any of you have YouTube videos or presentations that you'd like to share, post it, market yourself, and keep the energy alive. Keep finding new cheese, as they said in the book, Who Moved My Cheese? Why was it moved? Why didn't I follow it? Why didn't I take advantage of something that's new, invigorating, maybe makes me a little bit nervous, but I took advantage of it and I found it. And now I'm going to grow that idea. So hopefully we've all given you something to think about. LaWanna, what do you think?
You have, and Roosevelt, I remember my mom being able to go to a store and ask for what she wanted. That brought back a memory. Uh, but the reminder that we should be focusing on the customer and not what we want is very important, and it's something that I think sometimes we forget. We're so busy, speaking for myself, so busy trying to put out what I know and think that they might want, that I forget that I should be applying it toward what their needs are. So thank you for the reminder of that. And also, I think people do sometimes look at me as a role model. I do try to be one, because I saw a woman, I remember I was about 6 years old, and I've never forgotten that woman. I was impressed with the way she was dressed, and it made a big difference in me and how I wanted to be as an adult. I still see her standing at that bus stop in that green suit with a green coat, green gloves, green hat with a feather in it, and the netting coming over her face, and gloves and all. And I can see her almost as clear as I did that day when I looked out the bus window and saw her. So yes, everybody is a role model, whether you know it or not. Never saw her again. Wouldn't know her if she walked up to me. But that image is still there.
Yes. And the memory of it still lingers. So what you do today will touch someone's life and maybe make a change for them so that they could find their new cheese. So thank you all for supporting
Thank you.
Dr. LaWanna with her business challenge. Now let's move into table topics, entrepreneur table topics. Bond, you probably have 15 minutes or so to ask us some questions. Unmute yourself and let's get started.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good morning. So when I read in the book, Who Moved My Cheese, it felt more like an adult fairy tale, as Ross just mentioned, kind of encourage people to embrace changes and deal with the uncertainties. Pretty generic messages, but soon it became the Bible in the busy schools and the big corporations. Now more than 2 decades have passed, the messages in the book still provide great guidance to the business people across the world. Today, in our entrepreneur meeting, sitting in the audience are mostly entrepreneurs or would-be entrepreneurs. I'm sure you can relate to a lot of messages in the book still. Fellow Toastmasters, I invite you to reflect upon some questions that come out of the stories in the book. So my first question goes to Taya. Hey, Taya, good morning.
Good morning.
There is a famous quote in the book, Who Moved My Cheese? It goes, if you don't change, you can become extinct. So how does this quote resonate with you in your business practice or your pursuit of career?
Hey, so I'm hearing the question, if I don't change, I can become extinct. Let's see. So I'm still processing all of the amazing information that was shared to Dr. LaWanna. And I'm putting myself in the perspective of what I'm trying to do, as well as an extension of being a therapist and now podcaster. And I think if I don't change, right, meaning if I don't learn the skills that I'm trying to put into practice now around being consistent in marketing, creating a calendar by which on certain dates I will release content. If I'm not blocking on my schedule time to write the blog, in a sense, what I'm driving at is I have been for many years someone who did not utilize social media. Very big on boundaries, specifically taught through my therapy practice. And now I'm learning that if I don't change and adapt to some forms of social media, that I will become extinct because it's so relevant. There are so many therapists who blog, who have a podcast, who are speaking. And years ago, that was not the lane that therapists would move into because of boundaries, because of confidentiality. So I think I'm learning that I have to adapt to the market and what is present right now and what is relevant, so that I don't become extinct. So thank you very much for that question. Back to you.
Thank you, Taya. From your speech, I heard the division between two approaches to pursue the business. One so-called, it's not my term, it's not my invention. People call the proactive approach. Another is a passive approach. When you keep saying, I have to, maybe it's kind of passive. I'm not sure that's the right description, but sometimes maybe you can apply a proactive, stay at the front line of those waves or trends. My 2 cents. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Second question, the book talks about the different approaches people use to deal with the changes. Some embrace it with quick actions, like these 2 mice did in the book, and some hold on to their 2 old strategies, like that 2 little people, and they missed the opportunity. This question goes to Melinda. Hey, Melinda, so good to see you. I hope you are all well. So you can hear us, right? So you can now unmute yourself. This question for you is, can you share a specific instance or moment in your life where you recognize that you need to change in your business, and then you took some proactive steps to adapt the change?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hallelujah. Good morning, entrepreneur Toastmasters. Yes, I've learned a lot of things as far as making changes. One of the changes I've had to go through is through my travail I've been going through with my stroke recovery. I had to learn how to do things differently. So when I compare it, make an analogy between the business world, my business, Make Success a Mindset, and how I navigate moving forward with my business, I have to make some changes. So I love this book, Who Moved My Cheese? I love that story. I use it when I teach my students. My application for me is you have to be willing to change your mindset. Hello, mindset is a key factor for people in dealing with change, the mindset. Messages that you say to yourself to keep yourself focused on your progress, on your project. For me, it's my recovery. So I have to talk about that mindset. My mindset says, I will be victorious. Hello. I will be victorious. I will be restored. So based on that premise in my mind, I focus that everything that I do is toward that end. Now, I'm not going to say, I will say that some people try to spew negativity on me, but I don't embrace that because of what? My mindset. I will be victorious. I will accomplish my mission. I stay focused with that. And even when I go to therapy for physical therapy, my arm and my leg, I have that mindset. I see so many negative people, discouraged people, sad people, giving up people. But when I walk into that therapy room, I am on a mission. And I tell my therapist, I'm there to be victorious. I come to every session to progress in my therapy. I'm not going backwards, I'm going forwards. I'm happy to be walking with a quad cane walker now instead of a hemi walker. That's an upgrade. Both of them are upgrade from a regular walker. So to do that. Now that application of my mindset, when I think about my business, make success a mindset, I use that mindset to talk to clients about, you've got to change your mindset first to move forward. Number two, do you have a plan of how you're going to move forward? So it's one thing to have a mindset, but if you don't have a plan, PLAN, where you going? Nowhere. So I help people develop a plan to be strategic in an outcome. So with your plan, you got to have a purpose, you got to be liberated, you got to be activated, and you have to be willing to navigate. PLAN. That's the plan you can put into progression when you have a positive mindset. So hello, mindset and a plan, you will move forward, and that's my strategic mantra. Hello, Toastmasters, back to you, Bond.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Melinda. Wow, I love that message. I haven't gone that far, honestly. I didn't know you need to build your mental strength before you are able to build your physical strength. What a strong message. I really love that. Thank you so much. Third question goes to Susan Lena. Hey, Susan.
Hey, Bond, good morning.
Good morning. So through your business practice of all the years, have you encountered certain period when the changes came fast and impactful? I mean, not in a good way, like in the COVID-19 time over the past few years. So can you share with us with one or two stories where how you managed to stay motivated and aligned with these impactful changes in those maybe difficult times?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to share with you. When we had the COVID challenge, I was part of the trio. Jeremiah Lyle was our district director, and then I served also with Jose, who was program quality, and I was club growth director. And we were on a mission. I remember when we were at mid-years in Washington and we were having a conference, we had already chartered 5 clubs. We had about 5 to 8 on the books, and we were going. This was January of 2020. As we know, in March of 2020, the game changed. And there we were. As I came back to our area and began or continued the calls I had made for appointments, appointment after appointment after appointment was canceled. I'd get a, this number is no longer in service. So we would meet your trio and we would say, all right, what is our plan? You know, Melinda has it. She's got, what is our plan? What is our strategy? Let's stay mentally aware, because we were getting calls daily, a lot oh, what are we going to do, District 12? And I said, we're going to continue to teach public speaking and work with ever the venues are possible. And of course, bring compassion and understanding to everyone's global situation. So I think, Bonda, answered this question with just that one example. It's stay the course. No matter what, stay the course. Keep speaking, keep moving, keep asking, and say, gosh, when things clear up, when might be a good time for us to continue this conversation as you decide where you're going to meet, all those things. But you don't drop the ball. You keep dribbling, even if you're not making shots. You've got the ball, you've got the direction, you've got the plan, nothing changes. We're still, our core values and everything is the same. The venue has changed. The look of how we do business has changed. That was a pivotal point for all of us. However, our goals, our plans, our core values, the way we do business stayed safe and succinct as leaders all over the world, Toastmaster leaders. Came together in podcasts and in webinars, and Toastmaster International was very supportive during that time. But whatever it is, and it's been said so many ways in so many languages, you keep on keeping on. You just do it. You just stay the course. Thank you, Bond.
Thank you, Suzanne. I really love that message. Keep going, keep doing that. As the saying goes, one step at a time and one thing at a time. So you will be there. Let me quickly check Miss Timer. Do I have time for more questions or?
Maybe one more.
Okay, thank you. So last but not the least, I want to ask Charles. Hey, Charles.
Yes.
The book talks a lot about fear when confronted with changes, typically. So have you encountered this kind of fear in your business or the businesses that you have helped? If yes, what did you do to overcome or help them overcome the fear?
The biggest fear I encounter, since my business is helping people learn how to sell themselves and do better presentations, is that all too often people don't want to accept the fact that that's an area they need help in. They may have the other business acumens. They may know how to put together a spreadsheet. They may know how to put together a website. But when it comes to doing a presentation that people are going to listen to, it's something, for some people, it's a challenge to get them to step to that level. I work very closely with my friend Dumas Martin, and Dumas Martin has done a lot as far as opening new corporations, and he's suggested or sent several people my way based on him seeing their shortcomings in being able to do presentations. And the thing we run into is those people are not, some of them are not ready for help. Sometimes it takes them seeing that they're losing money by not knowing how to put together a presentation to bring them to the forefront.
Thank you, Charles. Very well said. I agree with you. One of the way to get away from fear maybe is just keep presenting yourself and keep marketing. Again, this topic of marketing is very powerful. Also can be daunting, but how you overcome that, it really can make a different outcomes. So with that said, I conclude the My Tip topic session. Thank you so much for all the feedback and sharing of your personal stories. And I turn the contact back to Madam Toastmaster Ross Carter.
Thank you so much, Bond. That was great. Excellent questions. And all the members who were able to respond. A lot of ideas coming through, and how we adapt to change, and how we overcome fear, and how we change our mindset and involve marketing and strategies to change those business challenges into business solutions. Thank you all very much. Now our meeting will be evaluated by Suzanne Ali.
Thank you, Roz. Thank you, everybody. This was such an awesome meeting. It's been a while since I've been here, and gosh, I'm so glad I was able to attend today. Our speaker today, Dr. LaWanna, I have never heard you speak. I'll be honest to say that. What a wonderful business challenge that you posed to us. I am in the process of beginning my business. My website is coming together, and I have actually written 3 blogs already. So I'm on that mode. I love blogs. Getting back to your how to market yourself. I think a lot of our members today gave you a lot of great feedback. A thought I had was, I always say you can't motivate people. So the more we market ourselves, the more we're out there, of course, on the different social media. But I think people have to come to a place where they say, Dr. LaWanna can really help me, and I know I need the help, so I'm going to go to Dr. LaWanna. But I think the more we're out there, I know I'm doing that and marketing myself, the more I can be on Zoom calls, California Council of the Blind, American Council of the Blind, and other organizations that I belong to regarding grief and loss. The more I get myself out there and share with people what I'm doing and that who I am. And there's a quote that people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think once people know that about you, and I have no doubt, I'm going to read your book for sure, but I thought it was awesome. And as people mentioned, that marketing is the toughest part, how to market yourself. I think everyone gave a great ideas on how to do that in marketing yourself. And I'm sure no doubt that they helped you. And I hope I helped you as well, that just getting yourself out there. I know I'm not on Facebook, and I want to get on Facebook, YouTube, all those different areas, so that when people search, I pop up and they can learn about you and and for those of us who are beginning business. So I hope it helps, but I also like to write and read as well. So it was great. I loved it. As far as the meeting is concerned, oh my gosh. Well, Roz was our Toastmaster, and I love the theme. As soon as I saw the theme, Roz, it's been a while since I read the book, but I can remember the mice, and I can remember hem and ha, and just all that book, like we all mentioned, it was a very simple book, very easy read. I think I read it like very quickly. Gave a lot of how you gave us a lot of examples how it pertains to entrepreneurs and change, and how we have to be those people that want to continue and keep on moving and roll with the change. So I love the theme all throughout, Roz. You sprinkled it all through, and I think everybody picked up on it. I loved our table topics, Bond, all the great
Green.
Taya, I loved it. Social media and how it's as a not being extinct, and how being a therapist, how you have to walk that fine line, and how you're seeing how you can get more on social media now. Oh my gosh, everybody just yeah, everyone just gave great responses to all your questions. My machine's not working. Suzanne, I loved hers about during COVID and the trio, and how you guys had to stick with it. I forget your phrase. You had a mantra you kept using, keep moving on or keep going. Everybody gave just great feedback to all your questions, Bond. I think they all related to the theme today, Bond. Great questions. A suggestion I have is an introduction for our Toastmaster. I think it would have been great if somebody could have given introduced Roz to get us all ready for the meeting. We all knew she was going to be the Toastmaster today, but it would have been nice if someone could have just said a few words about her. Perhaps she or someone else could have said that to just introduce her as our Toastmaster today. Otherwise, I think the meeting ran very smoothly. I think it was very timely, and I look forward to more meetings. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for that evaluation, Suzanne. We appreciate your comments and support for all of us as participants in this meeting. Excellent. Great. Thank you so much for your feedback. Now let's hear the timers report from Frankie.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. LaWanna's speech was 5 minutes and 58 seconds, so she was well within the 5 to 7 minute time. On the evaluation or the feedback, Rosabelle was 144, Bond was 218, Suzanne Leonard was 104, and Charles was 108. For our table topics, Taya was 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Melinda was 3 minutes and 45 seconds. You can tell she hasn't had a chance to speak for a while. She wanted to go. Suzanne, you were just a little over 235, and Charles was 113. And Suzanne, with her general evaluation, was 4 minutes and 34 seconds. Well done, everyone.
Very good.
Good.
Wow. We're so
Wow.
timely and conscientious of the value of time in our meetings. And Frankie, you did an excellent job as timer. You even spoke it out loud for Suzanne Ali, who
Yes.
needs that verbal confirmation of our time. So thanks for remembering that.
Thank you.
How does everybody feel about sniff and scurry and hem and haw?
Ah,
Can you
Mhm.
identify with any of them? How many of you are haw? Ham was encouraging and say, let's do this, but didn't want to leave him behind. And Haw was like, nope, I'm not moving. I'm not convinced that we need to look for new cheese. It'll come. None of us want to sit back and wait. We have to adapt to change. And I think that was the whole point of the book. Change is the only thing that's constant. And Dr. Spencer Johnson, who wrote this book, in 1999, we find it still relevant.
oh, sure.
Share the book, use pieces of the book in whatever you do in business or personal life, and make sure that change is going to happen, because it will. It's not that it's not going to happen. It will definitely happen. What will we do in this club if it were not for change? We introduced the business challenge session, the mastermind session, which is going to be on August 30th, on the 5th Wednesday. And I will say that Randy Powell, a masterful mastermind leader, will lead us on August 30th in a wonderful mastermind session that I hope all of you will be able to attend. The 5th Wednesday doesn't come up that often. I think the next one is in November. So start thinking if you want to lead a mastermind in November. The next meeting, like I said, is mastermind. And then we have some regular meetings, September, October, November. Catch the International Convention if you can online this week. Watch Facebook for all the pictures from our district leaders and friends that are attending. Are there any comments, questions, or announcements?
Quick question,
Okay. Yes,
Ross,
Bond.
regarding the mastermind. Do we have a theme for that, or that is the theme we have, mastermind?
Well, Randy did give me a theme, and I remembered the 3 Ps, and it was about passion, purpose, and something else. I don't have it in front of me, but I'll get that to you so you can do your thing and promote it with
Thank you.
all the effort that you do. Doesn't Bond do a great job with our promotions and
Yes.
flyers and
I'm
announcements on
sure.
social media?
The reason I'm asking that, I really wish to have a session or mastermind or whatever business challenge regarding the marketing. The more I'm doing that, the more difficult I'm feeling this field, and then the more challenges I'm seeing. I really need some guidance, like the book can provide, how to do the marketing effectively. This is
Oh,
also the
okay.
reason I'm asking. Yeah, it's such a huge subject. You really, the more I'm doing, the more I'm afraid to fall behind. So hopefully we can have some more discussion about marketing in general.
Yes, we will. We will do that. And thank you to everyone who signed up to be a mentor or mentee. The connections are working very well. I know Bond already reached out to Nez, and they have a couple of things that they want to share. So all of you who are mentors or mentees, use that relationship and build on it, because we're all learning from that process. I think I saw Frankie's hand up.
Well, I just wanted to shout out to Bond. I don't know if you're catching his little video clips on the newsletter. So he's really promoting entrepreneurs within our district, and they're going on. Are they going online too, Bond? Are they on social media?
Which one?
Your video clips for like the
Yes, I've seen
next-
it. I've seen them on
Okay,
Facebook.
okay, good.
Yeah, I
haven't
put them.
been
Yeah.
on as much as I should, and but I just want to give a shout out there.
Yes,
Thank you.
good job. Good job, everyone. Okay, well, I have asked the club officers to stick around for a few minutes, because usually we meet on the third Wednesday after the club meeting. And any members who's not a club officer, you're welcome to stay. So we will adjourn our club meeting.